Hey guys, I'm going to be showing you how to access and remove the water valve on one of our side-by-side refrigerators today. This is a little bit more complicated than just a single water valve, so I wanted to go through a few details that you might not be aware of as I remove it. For safety, you always want to have the unit unplugged before we start performing any of this. And then we're going to go ahead and remove this machine compartment cover. There's 6 1/4-inch screws that need to be removed to gain access to the machine compartment where our water valve's located over there on the right-hand side. Once you get all 6 screws out, this is just going to lift up and off, and we're going to set that out of our way. And as you can see, we got our water valve right here in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, so as you can see, our water valve actually has a mounting bracket connected to it. If you remove these 2 1/4-inch screws, it's going to release it, so we can actually pull our water valve completely out. All right, so this is what we call our triple solenoid. As you can see, it does have 3 solenoids on it. What I want you to notate or to make a note of is the fact that everything on this valve is color coordinated. This connector is green and it goes on the green solenoid. Now the green solenoid is the one that supplies the water to our ice maker. The yellow connector actually goes to our yellow solenoid. They try to make it dummy proof so that you can't mess it up. And the brown connector is on our brown solenoid. Now that does not just apply to the connectors, that also applies to our tubing, our water lines that are actually connected on the bottom. All right, so what I want to point out here is that it's the exact same. They still do the color coordination. Let me pull these guards off real quick. And while I'm pulling these guards off, let me point out, these guards basically are to prevent the tubing from getting kinked, but they also have a C-clip built into the top of them to actually lock the John Guest fitting from being able to be depressed. But if you look at the tubing, there's a brown tube going to a brown solenoid, there's a green tube going to a green solenoid, and there's a yellow tube going to a yellow solenoid. It's all color coordinated, makes it very difficult to mess it up. Now you can mess it up, so make sure you have plenty of light whenever you're replacing one of these. But ultimately, all 3 of these tubes are color coordinated to the solenoid that they connect to. The only one that does not have a solenoid is the clear or the white tube. That actually goes all by itself up here to the front of the water valve assembly. Now to remove any of these, you're going to press down on your John Guest fitting and pull the tube out. Now that flare fitting right there is to let you know how far, whenever you're reinserting that tube, how far in it needs to go to ensure that it's got a good lock on it. Let's go ahead and pull off our yellow one. The yellow one has a black mark on it. That's how you know how to get that one fully inserted. The green one has a black mark. That way you know how to get it fully inserted. And then the clear or the whitish one actually has another flare fitting. 2 more things that I wanted to point out on this water valve before I put it back in. You see I've already got it put back together. Number 1, ensure that you reinstall your guards. Those are there for a reason, so make sure all 3 of them get put back in place. The second thing is this slot right here in my water valve bracket. That slot actually slides onto a screw that's right here on this right-hand wall, so whenever we put our valve back in, our valve is actually going to slide onto that screw and mount just like that. That way it's supported not only in the front, but it's going to have the 2 screws supporting it in the back. That's how you're going to replace your water valve. Anything else, please check us out at electroluxservicetips.com.